Awesome. So Orville, thank you so much for joining us and wanting to talk today more about like your son and what happened. So when you heard about what the DA released to the media in terms of his update on the case, what were your initial thoughts about that?
My initial thought on it is I don't really want to get into that what they really said. My concern is this is something I wanted to show. This is Justin's passport, and this is the United States. So he didn't come here illegal. He came here the right channel. I pay all the process for him to be here. And secondly, the narrative is that he's a willing participant of this game. And this game having hap that they have to go on, right? So basically,
Can you just repeat that?
the hap that he has on the phone, as long as he's a part of the football team, that's how he gets information. And that's the same hap they used to play that game. So the narrative that they put out there that he's playing the game at school, he has no option at school when they trying to tag him at school. But when he's at home, he has an option. And they showed up and he didn't go out there to play with them. The second time when I wasn't at home, when they tried to force him to come out, if you notice when he walked out the house, he hold his hands up and say, "You got to sign a contract."
No.
It's black and white. It's not even something I'm making up. It's on TikTok. It's on everything. He pulled his hand up and said, "You have to sign a contract." Obviously, there must be something was said to him while he walked out the house, and he never get out past my car, which was in the driveway before they chased after him. So, if you're a willing participant, you refuse plenty of time. I'm not coming out there. You heard them say, "Justin, I heard you. I know you were at home. Come out." And also, whatever you said to him and have him come out, he said, "I don't trust you. I'm gonna want you sign a contract," which, at the same time, they already have their ulterior motive. So he walk out there naive, and all they did was the same thing that he didn't want it. So when they saying that he's a willing participant of the game, he's not. He's not. He just has to have that app on his phone. And if he's at school and you tag me, I'm going to run away from you. And so they put that out there trying to draw a narrative that he's a willing participant. And that utterance that they said was a friendly utterance. He's Jamaican. Everybody at that school knows Justin is Jamaican. And if you so concerned about him missing, you like wonder if he's hurt. You wouldn't say he's gone back to Africa. That's not a friendly utterance. So what I'm saying, this just seemed like his Rebel Ridge 2.0, and I'm just not comfortable with it, what they're doing, but it's still under investigation, so there's not much else to say. I'm not a lawyer, but I just want to make it clear that my son wasn't a willing participant. This was just whoever in authority trying to make a narrative of what's not the truth.
Yeah, and then there's a couple other things I want to get into, but you mentioned something about this contract, so you have that on video.
Oh yeah, it's on the first video that comes out.
Okay, so I'll go back and look at that. And then, another thing we talked about, have you heard from, any of these parents, any of these kids?
Yes, one parent, I don't want to disclose what that parent had said to me, because it's a legal issue going on, but one parent came out the day of the funeral and he spoke to me, and he expressed his condolences, and he told me what happened as well. So I just think if this is not Rebel Ridge, at least somebody would have known something different and say something different.
Did the parent, allude to anything that happened that night by chance? Did he talk about that?
As I said, whatever he said, I have to hold that confidential because on my lawyers. So
Okay.
But
could it have, could he have said something that possibly would prove what you're saying about, kind of the flaws in this.
I'm not saying
Okay.
the detective not doing their job, but what I'm saying, it would be pretty obvious if they were doing something.
Okay. So do you feel like not enough is being done on the law enforcement side in this case?
As I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to say things that I'm not supposed to say. And my opinion is not really, because I just think there are more, but I would just let my lawyer deal with that part.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, there's been a lot of speculation online about whether or not Justin, was bullied in school. Was he? Do you know anything about that?
As I said, these are touchy subjects, and I don't really want to touch on the subject because, I mean, I'm the one hurting, and when I'm hurt, you might say stuff that you're not supposed to. So I leave that to my lawyer. But I think it's just honestly, they're not. I'm just not feeling anything positive
In terms of,
how they're dealing with this situation.
yeah.
Because whenever I call and ask for information, all I can get is we still haven't gotten to Justin's phone yet, and but at the same time they could put a narrative out there that he's a willing participant without getting his phone.
Yeah. Which you think he was not a willing participant, correct?
It's obvious. It's obvious. He said they came to the house while I was there. He didn't go out to participate. When they came back, they knew I wasn't there. And they insist, if you look at the video, they insist. They were there for almost an hour trying to persuade him to come out the house. Justin, we can see you through the window. Justin, come on out. Justin. And when he eventually gave in and walked out, he said, you have to sign a contract. It's right there. It's in black and white.
What do you think was on that contract?
Basically, he must have telling them that he didn't want to play the game.
That's what you think was on the contract?
Oh, they didn't sign a contract, but he said he wanted a contract when he walked out the house. He said, you got to sign a contract. He called one of the kid's name out, too. And he said, you have to sign a contract. So, obviously, I don't know what was the main reason for him to say a contract, but if you were in your house and you don't want to be a participant and you walk out of the house and said, you have to sign a contract, that must be an agreement to say you're not going to do something.
Yeah. And did you have a chance to talk with, any parents or the school about what this contract could be?
I just think they just probably told him stuff to come out of the house, and he probably wanted something in writing to say they're not going to, but I don't think he was smart enough to know that was just a...
And then also in the DA's statement, it says the rest of the investigation revealed no criminal conduct. So when you heard that, did you think possibly that they could have gotten that wrong?
Of course. They definitely didn't do their job either, because this is my concern. The detective had the case before. He died. I reached out to the mayor, and she reached out to the police chief of Lower Paxton. The detective called me, and within 4 days, that's when that statement came out. So what kind of detective job you're doing in 4 days if that person was on that for months and he couldn't come to a conclusion? So you said there was a conclusion before that person died?
So you're saying before the detective passed away, the first detective on the case did not find that there was any criminal conduct?
He didn't. He was still, he reached out to me and said they were still investigating. and they're trying to get into his phone. And as soon as this new detective took over the job, he told me the same thing. We still haven't gotten Justin's phone. Within 4 days, that report was put out there that there was no criminal and he was a willing participant. And it's not fair. And I'm not going to stop, because I'm the one have to go home every day to this trauma when they're out about doing the same thing to somebody else's child.